Hey, what's going on, guys? So, happy Labor Day to you. Happy Labor Day weekend. If you're out there celebrating, be safe. Why do I want to sound like a commercial? Don't drink and drive, right? Yeah, we hear that so much. Nah, I'm saying it. Okay, anyways. So, this video was by request, sort of. So, I had a young lady ask me about where would I talk to people about beginning to invest. And I told her, I said, I would just share what type of investments are available, and also just want to. Oh, give me a second. Let me check. Let me flip this thing around just to make sure I'm recording properly. Sorry. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. All right, so um, where did we start? Okay, yeah. So yeah, she was talking about a church group. So I think it's great that we look at investing, the type of investments, but I feel like before we do that, we should actually take a few steps back and establish a foundation. So first thing we want to do is why the need for investing. So I actually wrote down some numbers, and I don't know if you can see my chicken scratch, but I can read it. So that's the main thing that matters, right? So, I just want to give a caveat. These numbers will be Hawaii numbers, specifically the island of Oahu, Honolulu, for those of you that don't live here. So, if you live in Columbia, South Carolina, if you live in, Cowtown, USA, please keep in mind that these numbers are going to be different for you and adjust accordingly, right? But I put first we need to define what is financially free, or what is the quote unquote ideal lifestyle. And that obviously for so many people that can mean so many different things. But here we're just going to keep it simple and basic, right? So we're going to say a house, two cars, eat out 2 times a week, travel with the whole family, let's say a family of three, 3 times a year for a whole week, right? So we're going to say that that is the basic lifestyle, right? So I wrote this down, and you guys, just to show you the numbers, since you can't read my writing, or see my writing rather, put down 4,000 a month for living expenses. Now that's whether you own a house or whether you rent a house. You can get a decent 3-bed, 2-bath, town home or single family home in that price range here on the island of Honolulu. So, and I put that as to include the HOA fees. Light bill depends on how you run the AC, but we'll say you got PV panels or solar panels for those of you that are not aware what those are. But we'll say $4,000 a month for the mortgage, HOA fees, things like that, right? Light bill, cable. Then we put $1,000 a month eat out. So we'll say twice a week, $200 for 2 or 3 people. Probably eat out more than twice, maybe 3 times a week, right? But say Saturday you grab brunch, maybe Sunday brunch, maybe Saturday breakfast or dinner, Friday or something during the week, right? Eat out. So that's gonna be 1,000 a month, eating out through 2 or 3 times a week. Also, groceries, we'll say it's $1,000 a month. You shop at Costco, so you got a decent deal. You got let's say a G a month in groceries, right? And it could obviously be more or less. Then $2,000 a month for cars, for insurance plus fuel. So not necessarily driving hoopties, right? If you want to drive a hoopty, that's your business. But like I said, we're going for decent lifestyle, not bare bones minimum. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you live here, right? We're not being minimalist. Nothing wrong with those people, but that's just not what we're going for right here, right? So we put $2,000 a month for that, and then also extrapolated it out and said roughly about $1,000 a month for travel, right? Now, obviously, you're not gonna travel on $1,000, but you're putting away $1,000 a month to travel 3 times a year, with each trip being 1 week, right? So that includes the cost of the flight, hotel for a week, car rental, and also what else was I gonna say? Car rental, gas, food, eating out, all that stuff, right? So that, with all those numbers, came out to roughly about $9,000 a month. Okay, and then The 9 grand a month came out to 108,000 for the year, and so we just made it a smooth 110. So $110,000 for a decent, financially free lifestyle in Honolulu, Hawaii, right? Or Hawaii, as they say. So with that, most of you either work full-time jobs, maybe in a part-time job, or active duty military. And so when we look at your retirement, the active duty, you're gonna make roughly about 4 grand a month in retirement. Most of you maybe not even hit that, but we're gonna say you're gonna do that. Plus, you got some disability or something. I know that sounded bad how I said it, but meaning that you're gonna receive some type of disability payments, right? 'Cause I was active duty for 9.5 years, so I understand you're probably gonna have some type of back trouble, sleeping problems, hearing, some PTSD. You're gonna have something after 20 years of serving in the military, so you're gonna get some type of disability payments. But we're gonna say total everything be 4 or 5 grand a month. Also, for civilians, we're gonna say that at best, which most of you are not even aiming this high, but we're gonna say you're gonna have $1 million in your 401k account the day you retire. $1 million, not bad, right? So with the 4 or 5k a month from the military retirement, we already know that's not enough to cover the 9 grand a month that we said for the decent lifestyle, right? For the civilians, depending on how much you withdraw. But it's safe to say, we say we need $110,000 a year to live nicely, decently, right? We're not skipping out on Starbucks, right? But, we're also not staying at the Four Seasons. Big difference, right? So with that, you look at the $1 million $1 million savings in 401k, and you realize that if you were to withdraw $110,000 per year from $1 million, your money would not last 10 years. Now, I do recognize that, hey, year one, you're going to pull out $100,000, $110,000. You'll still have 900K, so you get some type of return. So we might say it may last 11, 12 years with that residual return while you're withdrawing, right? Because you withdraw 110, but you still got 900 something invested for the year. So maybe it might make you another 10, 20K while invested. So maybe it might buy extra year or two, right, as you withdraw it down. But safe to say that it's not going to last 20 years. And I believe most of you do expect to live more than 20 years past the day you retire, depending on when you retire, right? So that is why we absolutely have to take it upon ourselves to invest outside of just saying, hey, I'm retiring for the military, or saying, hey, oh yeah, max out my RA or my 401k plan at work, blah, 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 blah. I'll have $1 million by the time I'm 60, 65, right? And obviously keep in mind that depending on your age, if you're talking 20, 30 years from now, this 110,000 is going to go up, right? Just due to inflation. So I don't know, maybe 10, 20 years from now, 4 grand may not even cover the mortgage or the rent for a decent place. It might be 8 grand, right? And if you think that's crazy, just take a trip to San Francisco, California, and you'll see that it's already there. So it's just a matter of time before the rest of the nation starts catching up, right? So with that said, let's go back to now we've established why we need investing. Let's start building a foundation here of the minimum level of income I believe you need to start investing. So I believe, like we said, it's $110,000 to live a decent lifestyle. So if you're not making 6 figures, that should be your only goal. Now, I know there's a huge movement out there with Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, all about getting out of debt. But here's the thing. You need about roughly 110,000 to live decent in Hawaii. It's the cold hard facts. And you could Google this, you can look up the news, you can check out whatever survey, and they will all tell you you need 6 figures to live a decent lifestyle in Honolulu, Hawaii. Period. That's the bottom line. So if you do not make that, then any investment vehicles, if you will, are not really going to be a benefit to you because you don't make enough, right? It's kind of like guy goes into the Mercedes-Benz dealership. Now let's make an even nicer car so we can really blow someone up. You go into the Lamborghini dealership, right? And they've got some special leasing program going on right now, right? 0% leasing terms, let's say 36 months. It's got extra 5 or 6 thousand miles, and they say you don't have to put any money down. You just need to pay for taxes, tags, title, for the lease. So it's, let's say, $2,000 or whatever for all that, and then the lease is $3,000 a month. And that's a good deal for a Lamborghini. But if we're talking to someone that only has a part-time job about that, we're wasting our time. It doesn't matter how great that deal on that Lamborghini is. That person has got a part-time job. He just does not, or she just does not make enough money to take advantage of that and to be able to drive that Lamborghini. And it's the same thing with these type of investments that we're going to go over later on. If you're not making 6 figures, then of course you're going to have debt. Of course you're going to have credit cards. Of course you're going to struggle with the student loans. Why? Because you just don't make enough, period, to live a decent lifestyle. So do not be fooled that you are somehow lacking some type of discipline, that somehow you need to skip out on drinking lattes at Starbucks, right? Which, I mean, you could save some money by not drinking coffee at Starbucks, but it's not going to make an appreciable difference. I hope that we're clear on that, right? Because if you're trying to live this decent lifestyle, right, of 110, and guys, this is really simple. It's just going out 2 or 3 times a week. We got 2 nice luxury cars, and we go on trips, quote unquote vacation, for 3 weeks out the year. If you're in the military, you get 30 days, so you didn't even use all 30 days. You only use 21 days, right? So this is not some crazy extravagant lifestyle, guys. This is just very basic, decent lifestyle. And you got groceries in your refrigerator. $110,000. So if you're not making that, but somehow you're trying to invest money to get to that, you're just doing it backwards, right? So now that we made that clear, we're not necessarily going to focus per se on trying to get out of debt. The first quote unquote investment we're going to look at is how to get you to earn 6 figures. Because there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of different ways to do it. There's not a one best way to earn $100,000, right? It's like saying, what's the best way to earn $50,000? There's tons of jobs that pay it. Which one can you do? Which one do you want to do? Go do it, right? Well, making $100,000 is the same way. You can do it by being paid as a speaker. You can do it as a real estate agent. You can do it as an insurance agent. You could do it working a high-level job, maybe being a professor at a university. There's tons of ways. You could be let's say a mechanic or a turbine operator at a power plant, right? There's a lot of different ways you can make 6 figures, but we just need to figure out how you can do it. How you're going to do that 6 figures. So now that would be the first step. Now, if you have a job, decent job that's at least covering your bills, whatever that is, right? Then whatever excess money you make from, let's say, either you pick up you start trying to sell books on eBay or Amazon, or maybe do some type of affiliate marketing or starting a blog or channel or something, and you make some extra income from that, then you should invest in coaching, a course, online course. You could also start attending maybe like an event or a conference that will teach you how to develop your skills more so that you can make 6 figures. So what I'm saying is your first investment should be how to get you to 6 figures. And hear me clear on this. I'm not necessarily saying that you need to go back to school and get a master's or get a PhD. That may be the case if that's what your profession requires for you to make that income, and that's in line with your goals. But if not, then you need to figure out something outside of your job that you can do part-time. I'm not saying get another job, but I'm saying something you could do part-time outside of work and figure out how to make enough money so that you can invest in a course, invest in coaching, invest in some type of training that can help you get to six figures to begin to take advantage of these more complicated type of investments, or quote unquote sophisticated. And they're not necessarily sophisticated, it's just that no one tells you you need a minimum amount of income and a minimum amount of investment to really take advantage of these. All right? So now, let's talk about the three types of investment. Now, there are millionaires and billionaires in each category. There are millionaires and billionaires in each category that will not touch that quote at the other category. So what I mean by that is, hey, there's real estate investors that have made hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, and they will not touch a stock to save their life. They won't touch a stock because they're like, look, we don't understand it. This real estate is where it's at. It's tangible. I can touch it. It's real. I love it. And in the same breath, there's somebody over there that's a multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire that all they do is stocks. They will not touch real estate outside of buying a nice house and, renting a nice hotel on vacation or a nice house on vacation. That's the only real estate they'll touch. They will not invest in real estate because they don't understand it. They like the stocks better, right? So it's neither one is right or wrong, good or bad. It's just what works for you and what you are curious about and what you're willing to actually apply your time to learn, okay? So first one's real estate. Real estate is something we're all involved in. You'll be watching this in real estate, meaning you're probably watching this inside of a building, which is real estate. Someone owns that building that you're in, or a church. That's someone's building. It's real estate, right? And there's so many strategies, guys. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I just want to make you aware so that you can go do your own research and figure out who you want to learn from, whose course you need to take, whose coaching you need to get, or whose conference you need to attend so that you can start learning how to invest in that particular vehicle, right? So real estate is one, stocks is number two, and this is no particular order of importance, if you will. And then last is business, right? And again, there's so many different strategies in these three vehicles that we could spend a whole year just talking about the different strategies and going in depth on who's winning, who did what, how they do it, how can we replicate it, how can we duplicate it, what's the advantage for you and I, what's the opportunity. But I just want you to realize that those are the three main ones: real estate, stocks, and business. And for the foreseeable future, this will not change, period. If you go all the way back, to the beginning of time, real estate, having a lot of land, was a measure of wealth. Didn't necessarily have stocks back then, but stocks are here to stay. Believe that. We're not going away from that. And then businesses. Well, always had business, right? Someone always had a company of selling something, right, to the masses. So business is here to stay. I think you guys would agree with that. And if you think of actually your job, if you're not working for the military, if you have a regular job, you are a part of someone's business, period. That's what your job is. If it's not a state job paid for by taxpayers, then you are in someone's business, period. So you might as well learn how to invest in that, and maybe one day even start your own business, or find the next Apple or Google or whoever is going to build a solid business, give them a part of your money in exchange for equity in their business, and they take you to the moon, right? So just understand, and I guess I'll start wrapping this up because I don't want to make this too long of a video. But I just want you to realize that, hey, you need to make at least $100,000 a year to start truly investing in these other vehicles. Don't necessarily worry about the debt. And when I say don't worry about the debt, I'm not saying you're never going to pay it off. I'm just saying your focus should not be solely on paying it off initially, because if you pay everything off and your net worth is zero, right, meaning you're debt free now, but you're still making 50 grand a year, you're still in the hole because your lifestyle is not where you want it to be. But if we take you from, let's say, 50K a year and we get you to 100K a year or 150K a year, right? Maybe 200K a year. And now whatever debt, we don't adjust your lifestyle too crazily, right? So maybe we raise your lifestyle to 75 or 100K lifestyle, but now you're saving 100K a year because you're making 200K. You can use that 100K to pay off whatever debt. But the wise thing would be to do is put that 100K in investment, let the investment provide you a return, and use that return to pay for the debt. And now, whenever your investment pays off the debt, guess what? That's just more money in your pocket now. Rather than you spending all your extra money to pay off the debt, then when you pay off the debt, now you still got to go and figure out how to invest the money now, or worst case scenario, you end up spending that money that you were using towards your debts towards something that you really want now, and then now nothing's bringing you money back in via investments at all, which happens a lot more than you realize, right? So with that, you gotta make 100K. Focus on investing, getting yourself to make 100K a year in income, and then from there, you have real estate, stocks, and business. Those three types, and by no means is this like all inclusive, but these are just the three main categories of investments, right? And then, like I said, each one has its own strategies and methods that you can look up and find yourself. So I just want to encourage you that to get to six figures if you're not already there. If you are at the six figures, start investing in these other vehicles. But if you're not familiar with them, then start investing in finding who can help you, because there's tons of successful entrepreneurs, there's tons of successful investors, business owners, you name it, that have done what you're looking to do and wanted to give back to people. And so they created a course, or they created a conference, or they created a coaching, right? That you could do that shortcuts the process for you, basically. And they say, hey, here's how I did it from step A through D all the way to Z, right? Here's how I did it. You can do it too. And pay them whatever it costs, right? And they'll save you the headache of learning it all on your own, right? So do that. And like I said, just think of this as a beginner. As of touching the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so please subscribe, like, let me know what questions you have, comment. Again, like I said, I am no means the guru on all of these investments. I'm not a real estate, stock, business expert, meaning, that I should have a catalog of books or anything like that. I do have some surface level knowledge. I do have some experience in it, of course, but I'm by no means selling any course on real estate or stocks or business investing. And I don't intend to at this point in time. But I just want you to be aware that they do exist so that you can go find the guru and utilize them to your advantage. And so that way, whenever you decide you're ready to retire, whether it's 5 years or 10 years from now, because it's totally doable. No matter your financial situation, it's totally doable within 5 or 10 years that you could have investments paying you $110,000 a year, and you could more or less, quote unquote, be retired. Now, obviously, it's up to you at that point whether you want to keep working. What I've seen, most people continue working and go on to make more millions or whatever, but let's keep it simple, right? Let's not worry about the billions. Let's not worry about the millions starting off. Let's just figure out what type of investments that you can do for you and your family to get you to where you can expect on an annual basis to receive $110,000 after expenses to do what you want to do. That should be your first goal. And once you hit that target, everything else will be easy. It's a piece of pie. This is the hardest step. All right, so with that, thanks guys for watching, and until next time.